Hello everybody, this is Yoga with Gabriel. So in our session, we're going to do several breathing exercises, including some steady, even balancing breathing, and we're going to lean into a lot of different variations on back flexion from several different vantage points. We're also going to do a little bit of balancing work eventually, and some work at the wall. That work at the wall will lead to like a little one-leggedness. So then we'll come back down and relax back down and do our shavasana and do a little breathing meditation as we close. So enjoy the session. So please begin in your favorite seat. Whew. Been away for 5 days. My seat got dusty. All right. So, whether you wind up sitting in Virasana or Sukhasana or even in a chair, get grounded through whatever's on the ground. Gently lengthen through that central axis. Encourage the first and second eye to softly close, with the third eye to gently open. Find a comfortable spot for your tongue up along the upper palate, just behind the upper teeth. You may consider, certainly do consider, but you may adopt, you may not. Just a very subtle inner smile. And whether you track that as just kind of a quality in the mind, or one that even manifests subtly on the face. It's kind of an interesting element to play with, the inner smile. And then let's settle into this seat. No need to induce any panic. It won't be too long. But at the same time, let's just really relax into it. So this asana embodies the steadiness, the stiram. It's just Sanskrit for steady. And sukham, the easefulness. tranquilo. Hello, Lashley. Wherever the sensations are strongest, feel breathing happening. Sometimes in those experiences of breathing, that subject-object distinction dissolves, and there's just breathing. Granted, molecules are small, but with just one typical, or at least a nice thorough inhalation through the nose, you're taking in more molecules than grains of sand on the planet. All those beaches. Let's continue to focus on the breathing. But with a little caveat. See if you can find a rhythm that is pretty much 5-count inhalation and 5-count exhalation. Could be 5.5, could be 6. Might depend a little bit on how you're counting. But basically a 5.5 count inhale. 5.5 count exhale. And let's go for a few rounds, maybe 10 or 15 rounds. Last 5 rounds. 5-ish on the inhale, 5-ish on the exhale. Very good. So, I mean, it almost goes without saying, just the practice, maybe even the feeling that it evokes, certainly the numbers add up. That's a very even, balanced breathing practice. Whereas, like the Kapalabhati, very fast, very energetic, very stimulating. And the long, slow, deeper breaths, maybe a little hold after exhale, gets a little more on the relaxing side, even parasympathetic inducing, where it's very calming. And that 5-5, somewhere around there, 5-5, just like really balancing it up the middle. Anyway, we are going to slowly shift into a child's pose. Now, adapt it as need be. So you might go down in stages. If your hips and knees and ankles need a little less, you can sit on a pile of blankets or even a yoga block. If you can, like at first, maybe even lean into pushing the floor with your forearms to really sit your seat, your hips, down onto your heels. I really feel that stretch in your low back. And even breathe deliberately at any rate into the low back. Oh. So even if your torso and head don't go all the way down, we're trying to get a little leverage to really release into the hips, waist, low back. It still allows us, I think for most of us at least, to release the head. Oh. Last few big breaths into your low back. increase the distance between the knees a little bit. Let the arms come more forward. Let the torso come down. Let the head come down. Oh. And really release in the mid and upper back. Take big breaths out into the side of the ribs, into your back, into the space between your shoulder blades. And then for about 10 breaths, you can arrange the arms any way you want. Try to really release the head and feel breaths go all the way up and down the kinetic chain. So you feel your inhale come in through the nasal cavity. Feel it light up your back, mid-back, lower back, belly, tail, bottom of the pelvis. Exhale. Feel from the bottom, through the middle, through the top. Last little bit comes out the nose. About 6 or 8 more rounds. You're really letting your back round. You can alter the knee shape a little bit. About 6 more full deep breaths, y'all. Child's pose. You can shift the arms as well. God, that feels good. Oh. So everybody, let's slowly uncurl up. Oh my goodness. We're going to stay in this little flex mode, but let's shift gears substantially in terms of our shape. So please come onto your back. Okay. Once you're onto your back, everybody, we're going to hug the knees in. Round up your shoulders and head. Round your low back any amount. Profile's, I'm sure, better. Whew. And just be here. Round from the top a little extra. Round from the bottom a little extra. Really try to combine both rounds. Breathe into that backside. It's essentially the same shape, as I'm sure you can see and feel, as child's pose. It's just all the sort of like pressure and force is switched. It's still ribs to thighs. It's just where the pressure comes. If you haven't already, oh my God, just let it go. And please try that again. So you're hugging in the knees. They can be squeezed together. They could be 6, 8, 10 inches apart. You're letting your tail curl. You're letting your shoulders round. You're letting the head flex. And maybe you do a little less in the upper body to lean into the lower body more. Maybe you do a little less with the low body to round the upper back more. Maybe you find a really happy medium. And or as you're doing this full flexion exploration, you find like, oh, the sweet spot in your back in terms of just like really locating the optimal version of the stretch. Okay. Last one. Oh. Maybe even add a little rocking side to side. So like if everything's game except the head and neck, just let the head relax onto the floor. That's alright. But just keep up that exploration somewhere in your hips. Maybe just in your low back. Almost done. Last breath or two. Oh my God, that feels good. Ooh. All right, everybody, let's release that. So, from here, let's extend one leg straight along the floor. And extend one leg straight up toward the sky, toward the ceiling. Yep. Just start everybody with some flexing and pointing in that extended leg, the one that's up toward the ceiling. Okay, and then let's release that. We'll switch legs. So one leg down on the ground, nice and long. One leg up in the air, nice and straight and active. And then flexing, pointing. Okay, and then let's release that. Then everybody, let's bend the knees, rest the feet flat, out in front of the hips, maybe 6, 8, 10, 12 inches. Let your arms find a shape down along your side, a little bit out to your side, a little bit more down than out, but a little bit of both. And then really stamp your feet into the ground. And without moving your feet without letting them spin out to 11 and 1 o'clock, imagine your feet are turning out to 11 and 1 o'clock. So there's that little bit of grip and torque in your hips, but it doesn't spin your ankle joint. If there's any strength left in your glutes before you lift, squeeze them even tighter. They should already be really on with the foot press and the foot imaginary outward turn. Then with any leftover strength, lift your butt. And lower down. 10 times. All right? So, you got the feet down. You got the feet in that grippy mode. That's a cue I sometimes give for Tadasana too, like you're going to turn out, but not letting the feet turn out. So it creates torque in the hips. That's already tons of strength. If it feels like there's a little bit left, you just squeeze the butt. And then launch up. 5 more. So there's a full tuck of the tail. There's a full pubic bones curling in and up toward the navel. Not really letting your back arch. Just a lifted butt squeeze. I may have made a mistake. I think I said 1 set of 10. I do mean 2 sets of 10. Okay. Keep going, y'all. Second set. Like, you want these to be hard because you know you're getting some really solid work accomplished, but we also want to, try to make incremental progress. So, if 20s you can do today, then maybe next week, we want to push it to 22, or at minimum not revert to 18, right? So you want it to be challenging, but we also want to try to, work toward development of being able to do more and actually getting stronger. On the last one, we'll call this the last one, pause at the top. Glute bridge, glute bridge, glute bridge. And slowly, everybody, down you come. Please hug both knees toward the chest. Roll up the shoulders and head. And then rock your way up. Okay. So one more version of leaning into the flexion. We did it, not that you really need the recap because you all just did it, but we did a lot of it from child's pose, belly down. We did a lot of it from our back, belly up, and now we'll do belly faces straight ahead. So you're going to draw one knee in and pretty much recreate the flexion that we've been doing. We've been doing lots of stuff. So to be clear, you're letting your back round a little bit. Ooh. Letting your shoulder blades spread. it's even okay to let the tail sort of scoop under here. Oh, I'm rounding. I'm drawing the navel in. Oh my God, that feels good. In, up, and back. Basically in cat tilt. Oh. And then let's release. So new side. So maybe you're straight up and down here, something like Dandasana. And then you just start tilting the pelvic bowl anteriorly. Pulling the navel in, up, and back. Flexing through your lumbar. Protracting through your shoulders. Flexing through your thoracic. Relaxing, flexing. Kind of a relaxed version of it through your head, through your neck. Oh. And then slowly release. One time, you don't have to spin around. Just get in the side view. Both knees bent. Flex. So you can lean into more low back. You can lean into more upper back. Just kind of find your comfortable edge here. About 10 big breaths, everybody. I know I sent out this invitation last time we were in full flexion. Same one though. On inhale, endeavor to feel breath from the top floor all the way down to the bottom. And exhale, feel it from the bottom all the way up through the top. Last 5 big breaths. Oh, jeez Louise, that feels good. All right, so next move. We're going to come up to the knees, up to all twos. Soon to be all threes. We're going to bring the right foot forward. She can be slightly pivoted out or straight ahead. Kind of find your sweet spot. And then put a strong tuck. Almost like you're leaning into the full cat tilt again. A strong tuck, but mainly just down in the pelvis. Oh, and then see if you can bring that tuck down here. Now, oh my God, I'm so tight here. I need the block. I was thinking maybe we could even get down to the forearms, but that's an absurd proposition for myself at least. Hello, Elisha. You might be able to do it a little bit better. I don't know. He's worried. He's worried about my hip flexors. All right. Oh. The idea was to get about 2 minutes on this guy, right? So that's trying to find something you can hang out in for 2 minutes, but a pretty deep stretch the whole time. Now, if it's too deep, it's injurious. If it's not injurious and it's just a tiny bit too deep, maybe it induces a little panic, and you're like, just a little, just it feels like a little bit too much on edge. So you kind of find some sweet spot shy of those qualities. Oh. Last few big breaths here. Again, if you have the capacity to get forearms comfortably down, go for it. If you don't need the block anymore, you can ditch it. You might not have a block, I get it, but if you don't need any support at all. Let's slowly get on out of there. Oh my goodness, that was intense. All right, new side. So, I know I need the block. If you've got a support system and you need it, just bring it in with you. New foot forward. Straight ahead or a little bias out is fine. That backward tilt, pelvic bowl. Squeeze the butt. And bring that squeeze down and forward. Oh. God, I got even less range over here. Any amount, right? So we're going for about 15 slow, deep breaths. Well, let's just say about 10. We can keep that nice, slow breathing going. That gets us to approximately 2 minutes. Keeping your butt cheeks squeezed, butt squeezed, butt squeezed. Last 5 breaths here. Please ease your way out of that. Oh, goodness. Muy bueno. So next, we're going to stand. Please don't disappear on me. Sorry about that. So I'm hoping, I probably should have told you before, that you all can find a wall, a doorway somewhere. And you can just kind of make occasional reference to the screen. You don't have to completely reconfigure your whole environment here. But if you can, everybody, place your hands up a wall. Squeeze your glutes. And just give it about 10 breaths. So without arching your back, hence the total lockdown on the glutes, you're letting your arms reach up any amount. That's about all I've got. 5 more breaths with your glutes really working for you. Oh. this one, so it feels a little like, what are we up to right here? That might be why. And then to come out of it, you just kind of walk your feet a little closer to the wall and release. Oh, that feels good. All right, so next, we're going to do a squat at the wall. Yes. So, it should be kind of obvious that we're using the wall. But I mean really lean into the fact that you're using the wall. Level your eyes. Hyoid bone back where the where the tongue attaches. Collarbones open, but not arching. Rib cage, a little bit more locked down than too open. Now, too locked down, it's just kind of hard to breathe. So we're negotiating some strength in the torso combined with the capacity to breathe. Unless it feels like you're slipping, it's a good opportunity to have the feet a little bit out in front of the knees. But we're going to play with that this morning. Ten more breaths here. So you're just magnetizing, almost like a magnet, like it feels like you're getting pulled backward through the skull, through the upper back, through the abdominals, through the hips. Last few breaths. Oh. Okay, so let's transition. And let's take the feet closer to the wall. Now this time, you're going to come down. Oh, and let the knees go a little past your ankles, which is something we don't do a ton of. So you want to play with it thoughtfully. You want to play with it in such a way so that you can feel your capacity to maintain a neutral spine. You want to play with it in such a way so that your heels can stay on the ground for now, even with those knees eclipsing the angle of your ankle. Should make the quads down closer to the knee really cook. So it's less glute, more low quads. Last couple breaths here. Oh man, that really does cook. So nice. And then gracefully get on out of there. Oh, that is good. All right, lastly, everybody, we're going to face the wall. And we're going to come back to that arm reach. It's basically what we started with. Now from here, we're going to bring the feet together. So you've got like a real narrow column. I'm going to shift back here. Okay, it's a little harder for you to see, but I'm still here. All right, and then we're just going to draw one knee up into that hip flex. Squeeze your butt cheeks. Now you don't have to do full cat tilt with your back, but try not to arch. And then release. And switch. Draw one knee up. Squeeze your glutes. Lean toward cat tilt, but really we're just kind of avoiding arch. And then release. Try that 10 times back and forth. 5 more, everybody. Got a nice, strong trunk. Driving the knee as high as you can take it up into your chin. I mean, that's unlikely, but up in that direction. Now, same exact exercise, but one additional component. When you lift right knee, pause. And drive your left heel up off the ground, tippy-toe style. Then come down with your heel, come down with your whole opposite foot. So, to reiterate, when you drive up left knee, pause. Then come off your right heel, pause. Then set your right heel down and your whole left foot down. Repeat. Two more per side, everybody. So you're driving with the hip, then driving with the calf. Releasing with the calf, releasing with the hip. Driving with the hip, driving with the calf, releasing with the calf, releasing with the hip. Last one. Oh, man. Let's release it all. All right, everybody. So nice. We're coming back to our mat. Oh, I don't know how far you had to journey to get to your wall, but we're coming back. And we're going to get prone. And fully extended. Relaxed, but extended after all that flex. So what we're going to do is just widen the feet, however wide feels comfortable. I like as wide as my mat, but play with it. Oh, man. Then you're going to find a nice comfortable spot for your head. Could be off to one side. Could be supported on the pillow of your two hands. And we're going to come one more time into some breath awareness. Feel breath enter from the top. Inhabit the middle. It hits the bottom. Feel those molecules release from the bottom, from the middle, finally from the last bit at the top. Last maybe 6 or 8 or 10 or 12 rounds of breathing here. slowly transition onto our back. All right. So please come onto your back, and certainly if you really want to, and you're right by a wall, you could go feet up against the wall as though your calves were on a chair. You could go legs straight up the wall. But if there's any doubt, just slide into a regular, comfortable, traditional Shavasana down on the ground. Just the last few deliberate breaths here, then we'll let the breath just coast off on its own. Let the exhales just be a little longer than the inhales, wherever you are on your count. You've had a few rounds of breath, leaning into longer exhalations. Simply let the breath just coast completely on its own. Same way you presumably let your heart beat, let your hair grow, let your cells divide. Food, digested. Let sounds get processed by the brain. You let a dozen different systems all function harmoniously. Shavasana. Guru Pema Siddhi Om Mya Hum Vajra Let's just reconnect to breathing sensations wherever you feel them most. Please take your time, but do shift your way up into a comfortable seat. So, please just begin to reconnect to your breath. And if you haven't already, make your way up to a simple cross-legged seat. And then just to close, everybody, one more time, tune back into your breathing. And thank you so much for practicing yoga, connecting over the interwebs. Namaste.